It is uncommon that, after all this time, Tommy performs an action that surprises me. To be fair, the surprise in Power Book 4. Force Season 3 Episode 7 was more related to the timing of the events than the events themselves. Yet a surprise remains a surprise. Tommy Egan elicited a gasp from me and set the stage for a grand conclusion to this series. However, they are utilizing these final moments to escalate the tension. Numerous storylines that have been brewing throughout the season reached a climax, and it was genuinely overdue. Tommy has been pulled in various directions all season, and as a result, he has not been entirely focused on the task at hand. The reality is, he was unaware that he needed to remain vigilant, although one could argue that his lack of awareness was the most significant problem of all. Tommy and Diamond have not been aligned for a single moment, yet they have maintained peace, keeping their primary objective intact: generating revenue. Nevertheless, a rift has been gradually widening, with Giannas increasingly influencing Diamond and Tommy failing to recognize that the brothers have been growing closer, a development that has been subtly marginalizing him. Interestingly, even with Diamond returning to support Giannas, he still occasionally sided with Tommy over Giannas. I appreciated the brief exchange between Tommy and Giannas when Tommy requested him to intimidate Vic, as it seemed to be the first instance where Tommy began to see beyond merely viewing Giannas as a nuisance. Giannas has some problems that were prominently displayed during this hour, but he is aware of the impact he is having on Diamond, and he seizes every opportunity to push Tommy further away. Even when he visits Vic at Tommy's request, he is not genuinely assisting Vic, nor is he there to support Tommy in any capacity. The more adversaries Tommy accumulates, or at the very least, the more individuals who are generally displeased with Tommy, the more advantageous it is for him. At the heart of his and Shanti's plans was always this idea, but the moment he began hiding things from her, it was clear that their relationship, in every aspect, was on borrowed time. In a different reality, Tommy and Shanti would be an unstoppable duo. I might even argue they would have outshined his partnership with Liliana, simply because both he and Shanti share that same ruthless and strategic mindset. However, you could also argue that this very trait might lead them to a downfall, as they would both want to be in control. Their argument was the type of nasty that arises from deep-seated resentment, and it's not something you can just smooth over later. Shanti was completely sincere with everything she said, and Giannas got all defensive, trying to retaliate while his pants were still unzipped. Normally, I can't take Giannas seriously, but he was really having a tough time in that bathroom when he was clearly in the wrong. Shanti smashing his car with a bat was what he had coming, but even more than that, he and Diamond deserved to have their secrets exposed. When Shanti spilled the beans about Diamond and Giannas plotting against DMAC, I couldn't help but cheer because it's been driving me crazy that Tommy was oblivious to how much Diamond was scheming behind his back. Tommy's not innocent, and I'm not saying he's some kind of saint who hasn't lied to Diamond or wouldn't jump at the chance to act in his own interest over Diamond's. However, Tommy never approved or orchestrated his nephew's murder. Now, while I was glad that Shanti informed Tommy, I can't help but wonder if this will make Tommy cautious around Shanti. He's smart enough to understand that if he hadn't set up a plan for Giannas to harm her, he would have been completely oblivious. I guess we'll find out as time goes on whether Tommy still has faith in her. But the trust between him and Diamond is officially shattered, and I'm not sure how to feel about that. Their partnership was always a bit shaky, even if folks like me didn't want to admit it. And with Diamond feeling more confident than ever in Tommy uncovering the truth about DMAC, this split was bound to happen. Tommy challenging Diamond to a fight felt pretty unserious because Tommy isn't really a fighter like that, but he's also not the type to back down from a challenge. You could see that Tommy wasn't just angry about the betrayal. He was genuinely hurt too. Tommy wanted to rise to the top with Diamond. Discovering that Diamond was willing to put his nephew in danger triggered that protective side of Tommy that comes out when his family is at risk. Now, DMAC better not keep his loyalty to CBI or doubt everything Tommy tells him, but I'm concerned that DMAC doesn't always make the smartest choices. When Tommy left the shop, I don't think he had any clue about what was coming next for him, especially meeting up with Stacy right after such an emotional moment. Stacy Marks had the tough job of being the authority in a Power Universe show, which meant she was bound to get dragged into the chaos eventually. When it hit her, she was pretty much powerless to stop it in many ways. Becoming the mayor of Chicago is a big deal, and she never wanted to be under Tommy's influence, but she found herself cornered with no right choice that wouldn't ruin everything she'd worked for. But the moment when she opened up to him, even if it wasn't completely, was a lovely reminder of the love and respect they share. Despite their marriage being over, he's going to be completely devastated when he finds out about Stacy's death. I'm totally convinced that if Tommy hadn't just gotten his butt kicked by Diamond, he wouldn't have been so quick to pull the trigger. But she approached him at the worst possible moment, and there's no one Tommy wouldn't kill if he felt like it. So, what does this mean for the future? Well, Tommy has no need for Vic anymore, and Vic will realize that right away. So, he's going to have to figure out how to stay alive, either by swearing loyalty to Tommy or by assembling a full-blown army to challenge him.